Welcome back from Weather and Nature. There is so much with Molen Kenyana. As you start your day, you need to know how will the weather be, and of course when it comes to preserving nature, because when nature speaks, we've seen the droughts, we've seen the excessive heat killing people in Canada and some parts of the world. So it's very important that you do not miss that segment where you get that vital information. It is time we look at we draw now emphasis on that is Good Morning Uganda agenda, where we discuss issues of national concerns that concern you and me. So always keep it on UBC TV for also such a moment. And this time around, we are going to be looking at the plight of students. We must recall when the president addressed the nation, giving clear guidelines on how we are going to fight the spread of COVID-19. One of the sectors that was again affected, that was the education sector. In the first wave, yes, 18th March he spoke, and 2 days they had to close. But this time around, still the same incident happened, and where we saw an influx and taxi parks and bus parks, all that. So education institutions were closed. However, some have tried to find a balance in this situation. Some online lessons, others are still even in Kampala for reasons that they give. Some have also come out and said, but what they have termed now as the Nabanja money, that is the relief fund through the office of the Prime Minister, we are also a category that should at least benefit at such a time. And with me on set is Ivan Tukundane. This is a student from Chambogo University. And we are happy to have you this time around, Ivan.
Thank you.
I must say, you're smart, you look smart.
There is a lot hidden in being shabby. So I have learned the magic of being smart. Yes.
Why are you still in Kampala, Ivan? You're the people. What are you still doing here?
Yeah.
Why aren't you in Tung?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think when the president announced the closure of schools, I think some Ugandans have issues with the language. I did not hear him say, go back home. He so much emphasized on observing SOPs. Personally, I have a feeling that the decision which was taken was in error, and I could not also act in error. Because when you could look at what was happening at bus parks, tax parks, the exorbitant prices that were charged, they ask you from here to Metoma, you are paying 300. Honestly speaking, they were saying Corona was in schools, in universities, actually at Chambogo, honestly it was there. So if you are telling me to transport Corona from Kampala to village, and you know those people, they are already old, I would be causing the ravage of their lives.
And I'm also informed that even some that went to Mitoma, a friend of mine was telling me about 18 students have succumbed to COVID-19.
You see, so actually every other student, majority who left, every day, to me I have classmates who have died. Classmates I have been doing group coursework with, I have been discussing, the way I'm with you, with you here. You succumb to COVID-19 and you die. And all this, I think the major factor that is causing all this is the fracas that was at the bus park. So personally, I understood what he meant. I am observing SOPs.
One of the reasons away from maybe not understanding what the president meant, according to you, is that people are going to the villages because they are sure they may not survive within the city, whereas in the village maybe there is free food, free accommodation. How are you making it in Kampala?
You see, in this Uganda, with or without COVID, we have always had issues, with or without COVID. Staying in Kampala with or without COVID, it is not easy. But we cannot keep in an environment or in a condition of complaining. Yes, the situation is not easy, but we can survive, we can live. I'm healthy. Do you see me lacking? So I can't say I'm having a comfortable stay in Kampala. But as a man, you must at all odds strive hard to make sure that you make your way through. We can use this pandemic or misfortune and we turn it into an opportunity. We have very many things to do. Yes.
Very interesting. Contrary to many students we've had saying we are stuck, we can no longer open up halls of residence, at least if we can use them as places of accommodation at such a time, because we didn't go to the villages, we are now stuck.
Honestly speaking, like for example, it is a new month. I'm wondering, because last Thursday we started a new month. The owners of the houses are demanding rent. Those landlords. So to me, I have a feeling that this is the very right time the government should come and intervene. And there are very many ways how the government can come in. It can bring in treasury bills to these landlords. And when they bring that concept of treasury bills, that means every maybe after 4 months or a year, they will pay the landlords, and we the tenants, we shall get that relief. Rather than focusing, I will not comment on what they are focusing on, but that's my feeling now, because they are talking all about all things, but they are not talking about rent, and it is very important. Very important. I'm telling you, last year there was COVID-19. Students who moved home paid for rent even when they were not staying there.
True.
Even there in Kampala, Chukubu, I saw those traders complaining.
They had to pay because...
they complain, the government is good at talking, but they don't come and intervene. So that's why I subscribe to whoever says that we entered this lockdown without a plan. Had we had a plan, a clear plan, I think all these issues would be in position to be addressed. Yes.
The number of students, when they returned, that is from the first wave, their properties had been confiscated. Some that had to move very fast and could not take a number of their belongings, returning. Some landlords were saying, even the textbooks, the pamphlets, your notes are not something we are going to be giving you until you clear our bills. Clothes, so much inconvenience. And for a student, yes, they can easily migrate to maybe another location, but with their properties being left. We are looking at finding a balance as a student, and this takes me to one core area where we know students, that is learning. One time I was having a chat with you, that is the last time we hosted you here, and you told me that you expected to complete campus when you're 24. Yeah? Now you don't know if a third wave, so you're the people that will tell how you spent longer at high institutions of learning or in the education system because of COVID-19. Let's look at how you're handling classes. How are you finding the balance at such a time?
Of course, I am disappointed because I'm one person who do with planning. I plan long-term goals. So like I earlier told you that at 24, I expected me to be done. And also I joined the employment sector. But now I'm not sure. Even at 30, I may remain in campus up to 30. But now, we can bring in a new strategy. The government of Uganda has all it takes to bring ICT on board. Honestly speaking, our neighbors, even other countries, have adopted ICT, online learning. I know it may not be effective for starters, but we cannot remain now. What is effective? This local method of ours is now completely telling us that my time has elapsed. But you see here, the people of Uganda are still demanding for us. We feel we still need you to be with us, but there is no way how we shall go, how we shall complete studies, or how we shall progress to another level, how the economy will increase its capital, its human capital, when we are still having this type of running. For example, they are giving food relief, this money. You might have a feeling. In fact, let me first ask you a question. Last year, I saw some politicians giving help. Who had asked them their help? Nobody.
You see, you must learn that there's a difference when before elections and after elections.
Now you see,
and how politicians do their things.
That's why in Uganda we are having politicians, not leaders, majority. They were busy complaining that we want to give our people.
And police is stopping us, securities.
So now I am wondering, their people, now if we are no longer their people. So to me, I have a feeling, the ministers, all those occupying political spaces, they're being paid a lot of money. If they can deduct, for example, 10 million from each, they divert this money, 53.7 billion, they divert it into education, promoting ICT. They buy smartphones or computers for secondary schools. It is going to be hard, I understand, for starters, but we shall slowly by slowly adopt. You find we are focusing on education whereby you are
present.
We are present and we are using online classes. Ineffective as it may look to be at first, but it is going to work out with time, and it is the right time to prove. I'm happy that this Minister of Education and Sports was given another chance. This is her right chance to make an improvement in the education. Otherwise, if she quits without promoting ICT, she will have nothing to show after his office. When he was in office, what did I do for 10 years? Honestly speaking, for me, from the start of this year, I've always used these platforms, offices where I approach, I could go there. I've done what I'm supposed to do to promote the e-learning. Yes. So to me, I have a feeling the government should get good money and invest it in ICT, both university and high school. Because now you see, the moment you concentrate on only university, like for example, we go away, high school is not producing. Where are you going to get?
So what will fit into this?
Yes.
Julius, let's take a look at your experience first as a student at such a time. It is easier said, one would say, than done. Though what man has done, man can do. We don't have a doubt to that. What has been your experience at such a time, lessons on ICT? Because carrying out these lessons, I know there are some course units that can be taught using what you're advocating for.
Yes.
But I've also seen course units that are part of a degree, part of a diploma, that cannot be effectively taught using ICT. What has been your experience?
Thank you very much. You have said there are some who are not effectively, but they can be taught. Actually, the issue of those course units you feel they cannot be effectively taught is now it comes to the experience and the knowledge students and lecturers are having to teach. Like, for example, many we are complaining about mathematics. Mathematics can be taught, but only that students are not having those skills to use mathematical language on those computers. But I, as a person, I do literature and English. It is the best subject you can study online. And you get everything. Only that we still have issues with the network problems. You are in a lecture, you only hear around 1 to 2 words out of the 10 words the lecturer uses. And even the problem we are having is that the lecturers are not equipped with ICT skills. They don't know how to operate those things. So the moment the network is not clear, that is the end of the lecture. There should be a comprehensive, massive investment in ICT. First of all, we must have technocrats in that field. Secondly, we must train, a serious training to people who will be teaching. Then students will come in. But when you find a scenario that, Mr. Chirawo, you are the one taking me through, but even the little skill I have, I'm better than you. Honestly speaking, how do you expect me to believe what you are teaching? So Uganda,
the students are more innovative, enthusiastic into this. They have more time with these gadgets.
Yeah.
Some of our lecturers, computer, they just have the basics.
Do you see the problem with what brings that? You find a lecturer who taught to you is the same lecturer teaching me. Is the same lecturer who taught your father if at all he went to university. So that is an analog lecturer automatically. The problem is people who are having office have failed to release those offices, and they embrace new people of 21st century with 21st century knowledge and 21st century skills. But someone of 1990s is still teaching. Even if we bring Keynes, he will not understand.
Can they have refresher courses, trainings? We've had the best consultants we go to in the field of medicine. You'll find these are people who have been there for I don't know how many last years, but they will tell you, yes, you need a neurosurgeon. You reach to the man, he's maybe almost clocking 80s plus, but they tell you that is the best we have in the country.
Let me tell you, they are good to be consultants, but they are not good to be sitting in those offices serving. You see, there is a difference between a consultant and an active serving lecturer or leader. The moment you get someone at 80, you are still saying that we are surviving on the brains of that person. Honestly, Uganda, we are one of the best countries when it comes to poverty, caused by increased rates of unemployment due to excessive corruption and overstaying office. Those four, 5 factors, they are seriously hitting our country, and we are lagging behind. There is no way how such a country is going to adopt ICT, but I have a hope. You see, I was reading about Tony Blair some days back. We have reached a situation where Ugandans, we are desperate and depressed. We feel things cannot happen. Tony Blair, when he was still a student, his teacher used to tell him that you are a failure. But out of hope, he believed he could make it. Do you know what happened? The man was a prime minister of British. But his teacher used to tell him, you are a failure.
Just like many people that have made it.
Many people have now this government which is around, many people are saying it's a failure. Many are having different opinions on this government. But for me, I have that hope. You will not satisfy everybody. And I'm not justifying that it is not a failure, no. But
you're just believing things can be done.
Things can be done.
Well, you're speaking for a student that is on Chambogo University, maybe one who can't afford internet, who can't afford the gadgets. But let's look at first and foremost the cost of internet in this country.
Thank you very much. I have been eagerly waiting for that same question. And I think the government is complicating and is telling us that, please, we are not yet fit to go in that era. Sincerely speaking, how do you get a 12% tax and you put it on data? Yet you very well know that now COVID is around and you want students to go online. Is that really logical? I have a feeling that if leaders, we are saying we are the leaders of the people, like they used to say before campaigns, really honestly speaking, they would say now every leader, you make sure that you contribute some money. We give it to the government or to the Ministry of ICT. Instead of 12% data, 12% tax, they remove it. And we can access, you see, for a government or any economy to develop, we must have taxation policy which is fair and affordable by its citizens. If we cannot afford buying data, how can we afford paying 12% tax? For any online lecture you have, I use a minimum of 5,000 shillings.
Per lecture?
Per lecture, 5,000 shillings. And that is if I'm skipping some, maybe I don't begin with others and I don't end with them. But clearly begin from where to go, I must spend 7,000. So now that 7,000.
How many lectures then will you, did you have via
Zoom? I'm doing education, I'm having 10 course units. So that means in a week, I am have each course unit, I must study it 2 times. So now you can multiply. So now add the data. Sincerely speaking, they should look at the taxation policy. And they reduce, 1, I comment on the tax on data, internet. Secondly, on the tax of property. The prices are escalating in hostels and these houses. And you see the major factor that can sustain a student, one, rent, then secondary is data. In Uganda, by all standards, when you want to attend online lectures, you don't go to village. Like in Mitoma, for example, assuming I was in Mitoma, hosting me via Zoom, you could not even hear a single word. If I am in Kampala and you cannot connect with me, how do you get comfortable that when I go to Mitoma, you will be with me? So, honestly speaking, I have a feeling that actually this 100,000 they are going to send tomorrow, because I understand even it may go to wrong people.
But you're not a beneficiary of that.
I don't mind.
You don't follow under the category.
I don't mind.
So let's
I have
hope
no
to not
problem.
go there.
But for me, I have that feeling that instead of that money, we could focus on long-term things that are going to change. People are not going to die. They are not going to die of hunger. If you reduce this 12% tax and you say now accessing internet is cheaper, we can, for starters, we can begin from there, and we can see hope that we are going to sustain.
But will this be also selective learning? Because I don't know how many people are in your class, but I'm very sure not 50% of your class can access. If you look at a Zoom lecture and you're following numbers, you would find that maybe less than 50% of you are able to access these lectures.
Me talking about online lectures does not in any way mean that I can manage. But I have told you that for starters, we shall not implement any policy, and you think that it is going to be 100% efficient. You get the point? So, for example, if that data access of an internet is a bit cheap, I'm having my computer here. I can bring around 4 to 5 students. They sit around me and we study. It is not going to be efficient as we want it to be. But what is most important is beginning. Can we start? That is the most important thing. But if you keep in planning, you plan and plan, and because they have talked about these things.
Budget allocations, I saw about 134.9 billion. That is broadband expansion, so that maybe more people can access internet in rural areas. We extend it more to the people there.
How do you how realistic do you see that one coming into play? It is not realistic. You see, the measures and the strategies the government of Uganda is using, honestly, they don't energize you to think that they will implement what they say.
What is your yardstick to that?
I have seen it has spoken and planned of very many things about those, and nothing has been implemented. Or even, you see, I'm so much bothered on the corruption that is escalating in this country. It is one of the main root causes that are stopping or that are making all these things a delay. In 2017, I think I was in 2016. When I had joined senior one, it was around 2011. But the government of Uganda was seriously assuring us that by 2017, we shall have transformed the education sector. Then by 2021, the country will be in middle income status. But now they changed that it is 2040, which is okay.
2040, yes.
Yes, that's what they are saying, but initially they had talked of 2021. But my point is, they talked of 2017, and when 2017 came, they said, no, now you see, we don't have enough resources, and therefore, let us be having the same education system we have been having.
Recently, the National Curriculum Development Center released a new curriculum that is for the secondary level, and we hope maybe that would get us there. But of course, resources, Ivan, well knowing a budget is your expected revenue and then expected expenditure, how you plan to spend. So you can only spend what you have.
You see,
and when government comes out and says that maybe because of budget constraints, my only challenge would be, are we having the right priorities? I think to me that is the challenge. But saying, yes, we do not have enough funds. So if you don't have enough funds, what sectors do you prioritize? That is the big question to me.
You see, this government and also me and you, we are one of the people who are supposed to pay about 1.5 M for the country to be free from any debt. And I think a few months from now we shall hit the red line, whereby nobody will be in position to give us a road. They have always passed. You are a journalist, and I expect you to be knowing these things. They passed supplementary budgets in parliament for certain things even which we don't need at the moment. Last year you saw...
That's why I brought in the word priority.
Last year you saw people who were contributing for COVID-19 relief. Do you have the accountability of that money? Those cars you are seeing?
Not so much has been known. We hear a bit of it. One time we were told it's intact, then some money procured, ambulances,
and
others are going to build regional hospitals, some hospitals in, I think, is it Lila? And
which regional hospitals are they going to build? And in any case, if people give in their money for the COVID relief fund, how do you divert it? At the moment, actually, we should have investment in health sector. But you see the problem they are telling you, we are going to build. Start. That is the main important issue. Begin. I have identified we are not having enough oxygen. We are breathing free air, and I think that's when I have understood how important this oxygen is. We should thank God. But honestly speaking, when you look at the COVID relief fund we are given, how do you opt for starting a new building when people are dying without oxygen? Is that being sensible?
The other funds allocated towards that.
Like you have said that priorities, you are not going to build those hospitals for the dead. Buy oxygen, engage private sector, and they reduce on prices of how they are charging the COVID-19 patients. You are saving lives. Then later on you can work on constructing referrals. And now they have that good feeling of postponing. You see, I think it was Nelson Mandela, justice delayed is justice denied. If you cannot begin now, then we are not seeing anything.
Finally, what is that one thing that you want government to do as a student at such a time of COVID-19?
We have many student councils, but I have not seen their primary role and purpose, what they have done. They should engage students, particularly they should engage in all programs. We are talking of SOPs. You see, they say set a thief to catch a thief. To me, I have a feeling that if they are part of the struggle, you will see how the economy is going to recover. Set a council, and you see the problem now when I talk of you set a student council to help you in research, because we still have fresh brains, we can research and give better options. We are the one facing reality. But they will bring a person older than your age that is on a student council, and you ask yourself whether people below that age are dead.
Ivan, I disagree with you. When I look at the students' councils right from the national body, these are young people.
They are young people.
Yes, they are young
They are the people who are brought in air. They are not the people who are doing the job
behind the criteria of electing and occupying these positions.
And even the way they are electing those people, they have copied the elders, what they are doing. If you can see the last election, that's how those students are being elected, and they are not doing what they are supposed to do. That is what beats my understanding.
It has also been politicized completely.
And actually, let me tell you, I have told my circles, if you want to be confused and dishonest, just follow politicians. They are the most confused people and dishonest people we are having in Uganda. And that's why I automatically disagree with anyone who brings politics. Actually, in choosing these councils, to me, I don't think we need any politics. We should use any other criteria. Because when you see those people, how they bribe,
the campaign, it was really hectic. You'd think, what are these guys going to take in office?
Actually, how do you think someone who spends maybe 50 million to attain an office, what do they expect from him? Automatically, that one is going to be a crook, like the way President Museveni says. There is no way there is nobody who attains office through drastic means, and you expect him to offer services Someone is a chairman of youth, maybe at a district level, but now he feels big, he cannot even pick calls, is there. Now, we are being spoiled by these politics, and I am wondering where the country is heading.
So if government is to engage, that is the youth bodies in this country, like you've said, and you seemingly don't have trust in them, so then what is the alternative?
I'm not having trust in them, not because they are bad people or they are bad leaders. It is because their politics are being influenced by unattachables in government, or even those people. Because you find a son of an untouchable and your son, honestly speaking, however good he may be, he will not win. I think student matters should be handled by right people. But you see now everything is politicized and influenced here and there. So to me, my humble appeal to the government, I'm going to advise them for free. They don't need to pay. Because people we are there, ready to advise them at a free cost. So to me, I have a feeling. One, they should not focus on only universities. UNSA, National University, National Student Association, we are excluding high school students. Those people having they're having bright ideas. Primary students, we must have a council that combines all of them. And whoever surpasses 35 years of age should not even come near where they are selecting. And the criteria which should be used, we should not even have anything like a politician. We have educationists, they come on board. All universities come on board. There we cannot avoid their leaders, student leaders, but they should not also be part of the council. Because the moment they get there, they're already spoiled. They will not deliver what they are supposed to do. That is the problem that I'm seeing. So we get in and pick some students, then they design maybe a certain interview, or they make some arrangements. We get people who are not yet spoiled with politics. The moment you get someone who has tested on 1,000 for politics, that person is going to be a crook, and don't expect any service from him.
Well, I hope you don't have to head to Mars to collect the breed of people.
I'm just speaking what is happening.
To get the breed of people that you want to be part in this leadership. Because as far as I know, planet Earth, in a continent called Africa, in a country called Uganda, if there are very few, just like a drop in an ocean. But, well, we can take a whole day discussing how students can see this trying moment through. How do they create the balance as students to ensure continuity, but also for their welfare. And we've been with Ivan Tumukundane, who is a student at Chambogo University. And every time I host him, there's so much we learn from this young man. But we pray and hope that they will involve them in decision making, because they better understand these situations to ensure that students in Uganda, despite COVID-19, can still continue with learning, and not just learning, but effective learning through ICT promotion. Have a lovely day. I'll leave you with Ruben Pima, take you through the world of sports, and Jagenda will be here to take you through Good Morning Uganda Extra. Till tomorrow, God willing, stay safe. COVID is around, and you know how best to protect yourself.